Hello, my name is Max. This channel is called Maxish. As you might have guessed, this time I'm trying to practice my English pronunciation and vocabulary right. So speaking is probably the best fit so far, right? As far as like rhythm goes, it just went out of the window at some point, and I'm trying to kind of get back on track, do all these activities and what have you to, um, again, like rectify some of the mistakes that I've been making. So yesterday I tried to incorporate. Yesterday I tried to incorporate a new expression, which was the verb to atomize, right? So I gave you the definition that it means to divide something or be divided into small separate parts. And yeah, that's essentially the gist of it, right? Like you can likewise use to decompose something or to break something down, right? In the same way, but atomization is slightly different, right? Because everything is kind of like isolated, everything is like really separate, right? Like, and that's kind of one of the implications that using this verb usually entails. Okay, so the question for today is this: how does the tendency to atomize relationships, viewing people as separate roles or functions, affect our capacity for empathy and connection? I mean, it definitely has, quite a detrimental and deleterious effect. It takes a toll on your relationships because everything is transactional in a way, right? Like, if there is this tendency to overly atomize your relationships, right? It feels as though like you just chip away at the beauty of it, right? Like love, it's not there anymore, right? Like why would you be infatuated or smitten with a person who just views you as a separate part of their life, like who's which is responsible for different activities and what have you, right? So atomization definitely can be quite perilous. There is an element of it that I reckon is quite like crucial. But once again, like everything has to be balanced out. Like you can't really go too far with it, right? The second question is this: when you atomize a complex idea by breaking it into simple concepts, what might get lost in translation? The idea itself might get lost in translation, for instance, right? Like if you atomize someone's work and you try to decompose everything into like small like chunks or whatever, right? Like in order for them to be gauged and come up with some kind of like metrics. Oftentimes these metrics that you devise, right, like they just wind up being an end in itself in a way. And oftentimes it just happens unbeknownst to you, right? Like a lot of this nuances and details, they just get lost in the translation when you try to atomize a complex idea by breaking it into more like simple concepts, right? Um, and the third question for today is this: can atomizing a community or group into isolated individuals strengthen or weaken its overall cohesion, and why? Um, yeah, I mean, it definitely takes away at the overall cohesion if everyone is isolated, if everyone is reclusive, and if the society is atomized. Obviously, the environment is not propitious for a thriving society or a community in the first place. It's just one of those fundamental things that you have to take care of first, um, because otherwise, like people just won't be able to forge any kind of relationships, let alone truly strong ones. So yeah, like that's it for today. It was my first attempt. The background is kind of meh, But, I'm going to move into my new apartment later this week, and everything is going to be more or less okay.